Today we're making oven-baked fried okra. This is a recipe I give complete credit to Vegan Richa for, so veganricha.com, one of my favorite websites. I have modified it a little bit to reduce the oil and reduce the salt, but there's some really great recipes on her website. And right now we have an abundance of okra where we live, and fried okra is a super popular southern thing to eat, but fried okra isn't necessarily so good for you. So we are going to make it oven baked, and on Vegan Rich's website it says baked popcorn okra. And I understand that title. It's easy to eat like popcorn because once you make it, you want to just keep eating it like popcorn. It is delicious, but also there's no frying involved, so it's super good. Okay, so we're going to start with 2 cups of cut up okra. So I'm going to remove the little stem end, which isn't very tasty and usually kind of hard to eat. So I just cut it into chunks. We need 2 cups. Okay, there we have 2 cups of cut up okra. And then we're going to make a batter to dip the okra in. So we're going to start with 1/3 cup of chickpea flour. So also known as garbanzo bean flour. The kind I've been getting is this stone ground garbanzo bean flour. I think I got it on Amazon, and really, really good stuff. So we'll use that, 1/3 cup. And then 1/2 cup of water. 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder. And just a pinch of iodized sea salt. If you are trying to avoid eating salt, just leave it out, that's fine. It's 1/4 teaspoon of iodized sea salt, so make sure when you use salt, you're using iodized salt because iodine is an essential mineral, especially good for your thyroid. And then grab a little spoon, stir that up. So you want this to be about the consistency of buttermilk, I guess. It's kind of a thick milk or a thin batter, I guess is the best way to put it. And then we're going to add the okra to the batter. And just stir it around to get it all really well coated, nice and evenly coated. Okay, that looks pretty good. And then we're making a breading for the okra. So each piece will be individually breaded, which is much easier than it sounds. Okay, so we're starting out with just a cup of breadcrumbs. And these are dried breadcrumbs. You don't want to use moist breadcrumbs like from freshly ground up bread. You could take bread and put it in your food processor and make your own breadcrumbs. The problem with that is then they will be still really, really moist. So you want 1 cup of dried breadcrumbs. If you want to make them yourself, you can toast the bread, get it really well dried out, and then process it in your food processor. That would be fine. 1.5 tablespoons of nutritional yeast. And right now I am using this kind. This is Frontier Co-op Premium Nutritional Yeast. And then we have 1/2 teaspoon of chipotle powder, chipotle pepper powder, 1/4 teaspoon of ground cumin, 1/2 teaspoon of paprika, but you could use smoked paprika, and that's what I'm using this time because I love that flavor, that smoky flavor that it has. So you could use regular sweet paprika or smoked paprika. Some turmeric, which, you know, in her recipe she says is optional, but I would definitely use it. Turmeric is super good for you. Turmeric has the compound called curcumin in it, which is a very powerful antioxidant. Anytime you are using turmeric, make sure you're also using some fresh cracked pepper with it, because fresh cracked pepper and turmeric are great together. So what happens, pepper actually helps release the curcumin in the turmeric and make it more bioavailable for you. So make sure you're always using pepper when you use turmeric. And then we have 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder and 1/4 teaspoon of onion powder. And 1/2 teaspoon of dried oregano and just a little pinch of sea salt. Okay, so let me grab the fork. And we'll get that all stirred up to make our breading. There we go. Nice dry breadcrumbs with lots of good seasoning. So make sure when you're doing this, one hand is for touching wet things and the other hand is for touching dry things. So don't put both hands in the wet okra bowl and then in the breading, because then you're just going to bread your fingers. So we're going to drop a few pieces at a time in with one hand, toss the dry breading with the other, and pop it right here onto the baking sheet. Last piece. There we go. It's going to go in the oven at 425 degrees for about 21, 22 minutes. You could stir them around a little bit about halfway through and just make sure they're getting evenly golden brown. Well, see you again after they come out of the oven. Okay, they're out of the oven. It's been 22 minutes and they are crispy and browned and look delicious. So while they're cooling, because I'm not going to try it yet, even though I'm tempted to, it will really burn. Let's make a dipping sauce. Okay. I have some tofu cashew mayonnaise I made earlier. It's delicious. Okay. So, and you can find a separate video for tofu cashew mayonnaise on the same video as tempeh salad sandwiches. So there's how to make tofu cashew mayo in that video. So I'm just going to take a little bit of the mayo, so it has no oil, it's cashews and firm tofu. And then I have some Williamson Brothers hot sauce, and I'm just, going to drop it right in there. Okay. And then add several squirts of hot sauce and mix it up with the mayo. All right, and then we'll give that a try. That is so good. I have a feeling Dr. Strickland would like to try it.
Thank you, Mrs. Strickland.
It's hot, watch out. Good?
That's really good.
It was good and crunchy and crispy, and there was no oil. So the original recipe actually calls for oil in the batter and oil being sprayed on these, just using a spray oil before this goes in the oven, and I didn't use any oil. And it's crispy and delicious. I had actually thought that the oil in the batter might help somehow hold the breading on. Doesn't need it.
I don't miss the oil at all. That's really good.
It was really good. So, yum. Give it a try.
Yeah, thank you for watching.
Click at the top for videos that we have found to be very important.
Click at the bottom right to see one of our featured videos.
Please subscribe to our channel by clicking our icon at the center of the screen.
And turn on notifications so that you can get our videos when the fruits and vegetables featured in that video are in season and at their best.
See you next time.